Hi, my name is Mandolin Royal, and today I'm going to be sorting out offspring that are from a line cross from this trio of birds. There's only 2 females, and there's a token male from Northstar Farms. Temperament-wise, he's a really cool bird. I like him a lot. He's fun to have around. His tail, it's pretty high, but there's a fullness to it that I want to try to achieve while also lowering the tail angle. His comb, it's out of control, but he does have white earlobes. You can't tell how good the leg color is in that lighting, but that's pretty good. He was a little bit narrow in his bone spacing, so I'm going to have to watch the offspring for that. But I picked off these 2 girls because of how similar they were to each other and how wide their rear pelvic spacing was, to hopefully see improvements over what he has, just by the hen choice. So I've got a group of 6 cockerels and 10 pullets. I hatched them separately, I grew them separately. I know they're from these parents. So we're going to get into those offspring and see what they're telling us. So I went ahead and pulled them and split them by gender. Here's our 6 cockerels. These guys all hatched on the same day. And I've already noticed that there is size disparity as I was grabbing them out and bringing them over here. I haven't weighed them yet. I'm saving that part to share with you guys. And I'm seeing variations between the individuals, and I didn't think it was going to be so varied because I did only hatch from that one trio. But we're going to go through these birds individually and figure out how many are turning out as promising, because doing it at this age, these guys are like 9 weeks old and they are actively growing. So this is when comparing them for growth rate really matters, because if they're not meaty right now, that means they're going to be a later bloomer. And I'm not trying to lose the growth rate that I've established into my line. So I have to go through these while they're this young so that I don't lose progress while looking for aesthetic improvements. But I'm set up, got my scale. I'll go ahead and change the camera view, and we're gonna scrutinize these and see how many of the 16 get a pass to move forward. This season, I've been keeping my most promising birds in the barn, and the ones that were coming up as dinner grade, I've been moving them out to my other poultry spaces. And things are getting a little tight here because I've been hatching since April, and it's time to get picky and really figure out what the goals are, who's staying for more grow out, and who's going on the dinner list. I do have a goal to find a pair out of here that I can spare for someone else, and I've got to keep that in mind as I'm going through. So let me go ahead and get set up and we'll see what their details are like. I do need my 3rd spot. So I'm inviting Mr. Shintekler, my barn overseer, to come out and cruise around the barn so that I can use the space that he's occupying for sorting. He'd rather show off and kick around his pine shavings, so I might have to help him out. Then we'll get rolling. Alright, I've grabbed the first male, the one who happened to be standing closest to the door. He's weighing in at 2 pounds, 2 ounces. And feel-wise, he's probably going to end up middle of the pack. He's 4 fingers wide on the bottom between the legs, but there's a deep V feel to the shape of the keel, and I like to see that be a little broader. He feels fluffy too, and fluffy is a thing that comes from his dad. His comb, we'll just go ahead and start at the head. Get him turned around here. There's a bend to it. That's not desired, but he has 5 good spikes. But I see a little nub. Hold on, give me your head. Right here. You're okay. You can kind of see the little nub on that 4th spike, the bigger spike. Right there. That's probably going to grow and become more exaggerated as time goes on. Right now his earlobes are solid white, which is something we were aiming for. And I do know that for breeding, having that many spikes is helpful. But that wave, I really don't want to encourage that. But let's see what the rest of them is like before we totally roll him out. Leg color, not terrible. Could be darker. More importantly though, that back end pelvic spacing. 1 finger between the pelvic bones. 3 full fingers from where the keel ends, right here, up to where the pelvic bones are. These 3 fingers fit in there. So that's actually an improvement over his sire. So the hens did pass forward some of their structure. He feels like he has substance, but it's not quite what I'm used to. He's feathering in okay. They are molting right now. They're at that age to molt their juvenile feathers. But he is just the first bird that we've grabbed. So he's our baseline. All right. This one feels really similar, but the leg color is definitely paler. He's weighing in at 2 pounds, 2 ounces. He has that same feel on the bottom where it's a really sharp kind of V like this. He does have really good width, but he has a little bit less fleshing. They're in the same weight category, but the feel is definitely different. I wish I could show you, but for that, the feathers can't be on there. And these guys are too young to show in a shrink bag. Let's check your pelvic spacing. This one's tighter. The 3 fingers are a squeeze. 1 finger wide. Let's see your comb. It's straight. There's a ridge of small spikes here in the beginning with 4 prominent spikes behind, but none of them have a little added nub on the spikes. And it's not quite a side sprig, because a side sprig is something where you get another spike coming off of the side of the comb. What these birds are showing are conjoined spikes in the comb, and the sire does have that. So it'd be important to remove that. Right now his earlobes are white, but I think I like the other bird better. It had a better feel. While not great, it was better. So this guy I'm gonna go ahead and put into the dinner pen. And then we'll see what's going on with the other 4. I'll go ahead and pause this so you don't have to wait for me to walk around. Boy number 3 has a lot better leg color. Notice that right off the bat. 2 pounds 4 ounces, so he's the heaviest one so far. And I can feel it. Like 2 ounces, it's really not that big of a deal, but when you go hands-on and you start looking at the differences in structure and what they feel like, this one has more substance on a smaller frame. And that's one of the main points I look for, because when you start getting into oversized skeleton type growth, that's where your growth rate changes and they become later bloomers because they're doing a lot of bone growth first. So far, this one's my favorite. Let's see your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spikes. But it's a little straighter. There's a bend on the back that's probably going to get worse with age. Earlobes are white. He's a little pointy in the beak, but we'll see how that shapes up in time. I like how the front of him feels. Down the keel feels good. Generous 1 finger, 1.5 fingers. This one has the better width so far. Easy 3 fingers. That's the running favorite right now. He'll stay nearby in the sort cage. I like you, buddy. He's got a good attitude, too. Get in there with them. Alright, who's next? Well, you're a little guy. Are you gonna weigh as little as you feel? 1 pound 12 ounces. This is probably the smallest one. Leg color's not bad. Let me see. You're okay. He's got a real obvious conjoined spike. See that back towards the back? He's got a little head. His body's little. He feels meaty, but he's just overall a much smaller bird than the others. He's still 1 finger wide. He's still 3 fingers from the end of the keel up to the pelvic bone, so his spacing's right. He's just gonna be a little guy. But the comb's gonna roll him out, because I can't let that get a foothold, because my line has that too. Alright, I'll pause it while I walk him over to the dinner pen. This one tried to nip me when I went in there to catch him. He's spicy. 2 pounds 4 ounces. Respectable weight. Good leg color. What's your comb like? Conjoined spike. And you've got that deep V feel. You're meatier, but structurally, I don't know about that. What's your spacing like? 1 finger. 4 fingers from the keel to the pin bones. decent bone spacing. He might be worth considering based on what we find in the females. So it's going to be 3 to 5 generations to find out the ramifications of doing this line cross. And the faster way to find out what sort of recessive things are going to be in there is to go ahead and take these siblings and breed them to each other to see what else might sneak through that's a recessive undesired trait. So I do need to be picky on some of these details because that's certainly gonna get worse. But I'm still a sucker for the feel and the weight. This one does have good vigor. I'll give him that. All right, one more boy to go. Oh, you're a little guy. Come here. Why are you so little? I only need one hand for you. You got conjoined spikes? That's coming through relatively strong on the sire's side because neither female shows it. So either they have it recessively or it's that strong for the male. Hold on, hold still. 1 pound 7 ounces. You're teeny. Nice foot color though. 1 finger wide. 3 fingers from the end of the keel up to the pin bones. But you're gonna be so little. All right, so we've got 3 boys of the 6 to go back and look at. I'm gonna go ahead and walk this one over to the dinner pen. And then we'll get into the girls. All right, the first pullet. One pound, 13 ounces. So she's bigger than what 2 of the cockerels were. That's how little those 2 boys were. She is fluffy. She doesn't feel that meaty, but she's got size, structure, leg color's pretty good. At their age, it's way too early to see what their comb is doing. Nothing stands out. The spikes are well organized. I'm most curious on the pelvic spacing. A little over 1 finger between the pelvic bones. 3 fingers. Ooh, she pooped. 3 fingers from the edge of the keel. She is the first one, so I'm going to set her down close, especially with that leg color like that. All right, time for another one. Alright, who wants to go next? You look big. Let's see you. Oh, you feel a lot better. This feels more familiar. 2 pounds, 1 ounce. And the difference is in fleshing. I can feel it. She's wider too. This is better. Foot color's good enough. How's your head? Too soon to tell, but nothing conjoined there. How's your pelvic spacing? 1.5 fingers, that's better. But that distance is a little tight from the end of the keel to her pin bones, it is not 3 fingers. That's a problem. And the reason this is so important is because this is where her future eggs are going to come out of this space. And if it's too tight, she can have laying complications. Yeah, that's like 2.5 fingers. And we know there's better distance going on in the males. And with this one being a female and she doesn't have that same distance, I'm going to have to rule this one out. Even though she's the heaviest girl so far, this bone spacing is way more important than weight. So I'm going to put her in the dinner pen because I can't even let her go to a laying home because she might have problems. Well, that's disappointing because she has the best feel so far. But we still have 8 more to go, so hopefully that improves. I'll go ahead and pause it so that you don't have to listen to me walk away. Alright, this one looked tall when I reached in, but once I had hands on, she didn't feel that meaty. 1 pound, 15 ounces. And it's a lot of structure substance, but not fleshing substance. Man. What color is okay? Comb's alright. Let's check your spacing after that disappointing one we just did. 1.5 fingers for the width in the pin bones. 3 full fingers from the keel up to the pin bones. So that's passable, but she doesn't have the fleshing. And that's really important for the girls to have that, because they pass it forward better than the males do. This one's a toss-up. She might come into it later. We'll have to grow and then observe and weigh again and feel again. She's gonna be a late bloomer. I like her attitude though, and her bone spacing's a lot better than that last one. Alright, we'll keep you close and grab another. Oh, you're a little one. Are you even gonna be 1 pound? Jeez, little Pete's, you're little. 1 pound, 4 ounces. By the skin of your teeth. That looks decent. Decent. What's your bone spacing like? 1 finger on the money. For as little as you are, your spacing's a heck of a lot better than that other one we did. You're solid 3 fingers. You might grow into yourself. That's pretty good bone spacing, but it's such a little bird. I don't think you're gonna make weight, but maybe we'll grow longer and see. You got a good mind. You could be somebody's pet chicken. You'll at least be a productive little layer. Alright, moving on. I'll just put you with those 3 boys so we don't confuse you for the better females. You feel like you're gonna be little too. One pound, 7 ounces. Has the right shape. Not much fleshing. That's not too bad. 1 finger wide between the pelvic bones. And at that age, that's about right. But that's a tight 3 fingers. You're similar to the other little one. Alright, you're going on standby. Oh, you're cute. Come here. So far, all of the girls have a very similar feel of not much flushing. That'll take some breeding work to fix. And I'm not convinced coloring's worth it. 1 pound, 13 ounces. That's better. You're actually framed up pretty decent. I'm gonna go ahead and move the camera. She's really not bad looking. Alright, we gotta look at the rest of you. You actually feel better than those other ones. You have excellent vigor. That's a generous 1 finger. There's wiggle room. 3 fingers on the money. Not as fluffy. Right shape. We don't want to call ourselves out of our breeding opportunity, so I think I'll put you with those other 2 bigger ones. You're not too bad. Alright, who wants to go next? Well, you're showing good width. I saw how wide you were standing there. Does that mean you have weight? Hold still. Hold still. You're okay. You're alright. I promise. You're spunky. £1 pound, 14 ounces. So far, this one feels the best out of the girls. I feel fleshing down that keel. It feels nice in here and down through there. Feel-wise, this is the best pullet yet. Good leg color. That's not bad. What's your spacing like? Oh, 1.5 fingers. 3 fingers. I like you. So far, you might be the best balanced bird out of that little group. All right, 3 birds left. You look promising. Where have you been hiding? Look at this mess. You a bunch of dirty birds. Oh, you have 2 bent toes. Oh, and you're 2 pounds, 3 ounces. Oh, this is the heaviest pullet yet with the best feel. But her 2 inner toes are bent. Man, that's so annoying when that happens. Her tail's probably gonna get too high anyways. Man. I can't let those bent toes come through. That cannot be a thing. I'm gonna stick her in the dinner pen. Man. My line has carried bent toes in it too. I can't let that merge with it in the other line because it'll just further set that in. And I want to eliminate it. Man, she's got the best feel though. That's so frustrating when that happens. But this is a small batch of birds. And I'll show you the sort results once I get through the other two girls so that you can see what I came away with from a group of 16. And then I'm just gonna have to hatch some more. I'll go ahead and pause it, put her back, and we'll do the last two. This one feels little. 1 pound, 9 ounces. Leg color is paler than the others. Comb looks promising though. Feel isn't that great. I feel more bone than meat, and you really want to be feeling more meat than bone. 1 finger wide between the pin bones. 2.5. So this one is not going to become the most productive layer. Alright, last girl, and then we'll see the results. Oh, this is better. You look little, but you feel great. What do you weigh? Let's find out. 1 pound, 14 ounces. Ah, your inner toes are bent too. So that rules her out, but we're still gonna take a look. Too many comb spikes. That's gonna get sloppy. A tight 1 finger. Tight 3 fingers. That's not enough. This one's out too. Alright, let me get organized and show you the results of what we came away with out of 16 birds from a line cross experiment. Alright, so here's our 4 pullets that sorted out as promising. They need more growth to tell us more, but from the initial sort, we took 10 pullets down to 4 just off of their growth rate, the feel of the fleshing, the shape of the body, the bone spacing, leg color. We were able to rule out 6 that we don't want to see further breeding results from the more faulty birds, I guess you'd say. Leg color is really consistent though, and that is something I need to work on. And that's part of the process. When you do line crosses, you have to have a plan, and you have to have goals, and you have to be willing to get in there and sort through them and figure out which ones are going in the direction you want them to head into. These are the 3 boys of 6. Not too bad, but they definitely need more time to show us some more about them. And we're going to see what the combs do. This little bend, that's just going to get worse. But he had such a good feel, and that's more important for the table qualities. At the end of the day, this is a utility flock, so some of those little tiny aesthetic details, I don't worry too much about them because I can fix it through further breeding work. But I can't lose the utility. So we came away out of the 16 with 7 total birds that I'm going to keep growing in a separate pen. Not a bad looking group, really. So I'm actually pleased because it is a line cross and there's a lot of variables. Oh, look at you guys dust bathing. So these are all the birds we sorted out as not ideal. Just based on what they're telling us now, we can go ahead and rule them out. And I am confident in that decision. I've been working with these birds long enough to have a pretty good idea of what to expect as they grow more. These are probably going to finish up looking pretty similar to each other. They have the same great temperament. I didn't accidentally add in aggression or anything, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and get these guys situated and get back into the air conditioning because it is really starting to warm up out here, and I don't want to stress them out any more than I've already stressed them out. So more on this later, and I am going to put in the video link to the video I did when I first put this batch of birds into a grow pen. I did weigh them at that time, and based off of those weights and the feel back then, I'm not surprised that I came out with just these 7. And this is within the range of normal. Anytime you start messing with the genetic lineage and you add in new stock, you're gambling. And sometimes it's worth it. I am hopeful. So more on this later.